Very dangerous. He's very violent. And we found him.
Well, the manhunt for a triple murder suspect comes to a deadly end hundreds of miles away from the scene of the crime. Detectives say David Smith murdered 3 people inside his home in Lakeland and then took off for Tennessee, where he was eventually captured after he shot himself during a tense SWAT standoff. The shooter's mother said he suffered from PTSD after leaving the Army. Now, Fox 13's Evan Axelbank has been looking into that. But first, though, let's go to Mark to bring us the newest developments. Mark.
And Kelly, we start with confirmation we got tonight that Smith did die from his injuries from that self-inflicted gunshot wound. We want to take you back to the first crime scene in this home right south of Lakeland. Last night, a 14-year-old girl came home to find her mom and 2 others were dead inside. Detectives immediately began searching for this guy, David Smith. Sheriff Grady Judd says he stole his dad's car and took off heading north to Tennessee. And the manhunt ended there today, where Smith holed up inside a room at a Days Inn motel in Knoxville. The standoff lasting several hours, ending in the early afternoon today when SWAT team officers tossed tear gas into the room. They say Smith fired through the window and then shot himself. They took him to the hospital and he was alive for a couple hours, but he died a short time later. Now, the victims of this horrible crime, David Smith's own sister Daniela and 2 of her friends, Nicosi Williams and Miranda Mims. The 3 of them all killed sometime over the weekend, and that's where the sheriff's office is believing what really happened here. We're going to hope to narrow this window here in a little bit, but Fox 13 spoke with the father of Nicosi Williams today, who says this is a devastating ending to his son's life.
Nicosi is a very loving kid. His joy for life caused people to be attracted to him. He didn't know any strangers. He just loved with a passion. That's what we're going through right now, learning how to work through this nightmare is what it is.
Yeah, now as for the teen who found the victims, Sheriff Judd says they are getting her all the help they can right now. Imagine how tough that's going to be for her as she moves forward. He also said this death toll could have been higher if she were home when Smith was there. Smith's Facebook page, by the way, his page, is full of all these crazy rants that don't make any sense at all. And his mom says that he is an Iraq and Afghanistan war veteran and suffered as well from PTSD. Kelly.
All right, Mark. And Fox 13's Evan Axelbank joins us now with a look at the role that PTSD may have played in the murders.
Well, Kelly, as we all know, David Smith is just one of many thousands who have come back from Iraq and Afghanistan who have been diagnosed with PTSD. And while most with PTSD don't hurt others, psychologists have real concerns that we still have a long way to go in understanding it and treating it.
For all the destruction that David Eugene Smith left behind in Lakeland, there are questions, too.
If he had post-traumatic stress syndrome, I wish he would have gotten help.
Indeed, the Army vet of Iraq and Afghanistan had been committed several times. The horrors of war, leaving him delusional.
His mother said that David thinks that he lives in another dimension.
David Smith.
He suffers from PTSD.
And St. Pete's Jason Faber, who was alleged to have killed a neighbor in April.
Mr. Faber also suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder.
And Matt Buendia of Carrollwood, accused of shooting a deputy in 2011.
The Marine was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder.
All vets who have fought for us only to fight their own demons.
One place that there is a gap is in our actual understanding of PTSD and how it develops and how we can treat it.
Psychologist Jeremy Gaze says the number of patients will go up as the wars end. He says PTSD patients are more likely to become loners who have trouble keeping relationships or jobs. But these types of wars can produce extreme cases.
In situations in which their lives are threatened and the degree to which they are exposed either directly or indirectly to these extraordinarily stressful situations.
Gay says the VA has improved recognition of PTSD and has many programs to help. But he is concerned about access to care.
Returning soldiers often feel most comfortable amongst other returning soldiers because they feel that those are the only folks who really understand.
And for those of you out there who might know somebody who might have PTSD, you need to be on the lookout for several warning signs. The doctor says paranoia, being a loner, and having flashbacks are all things that you need to take notice of. Now, our political editor, Craig Patrick, also tells me that he believes that Congress and the President will have somewhat of a solution later on this summer when it comes to those VA backlogs that we have seen. We're in the newsroom tonight. Evan Axelbank, Fox 13 News.
All right, Evan, let's deal with the highways now because we got